Well, for a deeper look at this year's shopping festival, let's bring in John Gong. He's a professor of economics at the University of International Business and Economics in Beijing. John, always good to have you.
Thank you, Francis.
Well, John, let's talk about Singles' Day. It started out in China, of course, but it's really become this international thing. Can you explain how it has expanded internationally, both in terms of the consumers, the people buying these products, and also the retailers that are participating in this?
Well, this shopping event is mostly associated with Alibaba. Initially, it was Taobao, now over the Tmall platform as well. And I think this event, the influence of this event has expanded as Alibaba expands overseas. Alibaba has established presence in many countries, especially in Southeast Asia countries. And the border, in a traditional sense, across different countries, consumers has really diminished on an online platform. There's not much of a difference in terms of placing an order if you're living here in Beijing or in Shanghai or in Seoul, for example, in Hong Kong or in Manila. So I think in that context, this shopping behavior is spreading across the border into other countries, and given the substantial discounts that are available on the shopping day, it's not surprising to see people placing orders and open up their wallets.
And for our international audience and those who aren't shopping on this day, give us a sense of just how big of a deal this is. We mentioned some numbers, but I don't think people realize, how big this day is and how it compares to, say, some big sales days around the world, like here in the U.S. we have Amazon Prime Day and Cyber Monday. Those pale in comparison to Singles' Day, don't they?
Yeah, so your programs already showed that the volume and the total amount achieved used to be on a single day, but now it's actually over a couple of days. They have pre-sales events. It's just tremendous. It's unbelievable that a company can handle so many orders on a single day. Now, I can't remember exactly the figures, but just to put things into perspective, Alibaba has the technology to process hundreds of thousands of orders per second. This is the kind of volumes we're talking about here. Now, it's about a volume, but and also in terms of the kind of discounts people are seeing. Initially we're talking about discounts up to like 50% when it first started out. I think the deep discounts phenomenon was still maintained over the years, but it's probably diminished a little bit. But still, we're really talking about a huge amount of double-digit discounts, at least double-digit discounts during this period of time. And given the deep discount that are available, consumers are placing orders.
Yeah, everyone loves a good deal. Well, experts are saying sales from this year's Singles' Day could top a record 1 trillion yuan or $140 billion, as we mentioned. That is a smaller uptick than we had expected from last year. Still a big number, though. So what do these numbers say about the state of the economy in China and consumer confidence in general?
Well, obviously, China's economy, like many economies around the world right now, is experiencing difficulties due to the pandemic, due to the policies associated with containing the pandemic. And on top of this, there are other factors, for example, high inflation, the war in Ukraine, the slowing down exports markets in the United States, in Europe, and all these things are hitting back home. So it was not surprising to see that the economy is facing difficulties and the consumers are tightening up their wallets. But nevertheless, I think the figures are showing still there's noticeable growth. It's already a very large number. I think to maintain the same kind of growth rates year after year, after it has already grown to such a big event, it's probably not very realistic. Even a 5% growth rate, as being suggested by experts so far, is still a tremendous growth in my view. I don't think in China we're going to see kind of a double-digit growth in events like this, or economies, other performance metrics, I think we are probably more in line with the traditional growth rates associated with mature economies, developed economies. China is becoming increasingly like a developed economy, in my view.
Well, you mentioned some of the factors that might be influencing consumers, like COVID. What are the most popular items that people are buying, given those factors on Singles' Day, and how much are they spending? Are they spending maybe less than they did in the past?
Well, I think consumers are spending on things that's what I describe as like a new consumption patterns. In other words, it's not just about eating and buying clothing, which are very traditional in China. I think we're starting to see a lot of new interests, upgraded interests. For example, your program show the people are paying for items related to pets, and I think pets is a growth phenomenon here in China. Having lived in the United States for many years, we know that Americans' passion for dogs, and I think the same thing is happening here in China as well. People's passion for dogs and cats, and we're going to see more of these. Related these shopping behaviors related to these things. So I think like any developed countries, consumers are getting to new areas, breaking new grounds, and upgrade their overall consumption pattern.